South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hi there and welcome to Headliners. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Migrants across the United States are now living in fear amid a new deadline by the Trump administration to self-deport or face consequences. And now a Haitian immigrant worries he may be forced to return to violence in Haiti. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez joins us from Doral with that family's story.
35-year-old Jean, a Haitian migrant who prefers not to be identified, says he left Haiti fearing for his life, and now he is living in fear because he has been told he must leave this country in 30 days. What were the conditions that you were living in Haiti?
I had to leave my house because the neighborhood was taken over by gangs. My family and I were displaced. I don't have a place to go.
Jean, his wife, and 2 young children came to the U.S. 7 months ago under CHNVA, a parole program given permission to 530,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to live and work in the U.S. legally for 2 years. So how are you feeling right now?
There's a series of anxiety. It's like our life is falling apart because even my wife has found a job now.
On Tuesday, the Trump administration announced those protections would be revoked in 30 days. This applies to Jean, his family, and thousands of migrants under that status. So what now? What are you hoping for?
What we ask is for protection. We are here because we feared for our lives. We are here because we're trying and we did everything that was asked. We did everything correctly. So we are here to live and ask the government to reconsider their decision because we have the right to live.
And with no flights in and out of Haiti since November of last year, Jean says he is living in limbo.
I can't even imagine about returning home because of my conditions. Cannot go back to Haiti. Haiti doesn't exist.
And Jean told us he is seeking legal representation. Now, the date given is April 24th. That is the day when they have to leave this country, otherwise could face deportation. In Doral, Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
So could teenagers soon replace deported migrants in the workforce? A Senate bill that narrowly advanced in the state legislature aims to ease child labor laws, allowing minors to work more hours. The governor thinks it could fill positions left vacant by having fewer undocumented immigrants, but not everyone is on board. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones is in the Redland with how a local teen is hoping this move will help him find work.
I talked to a 17-year-old who is working with his dad over spring break to make a little extra cash. He says he's been looking for work unsuccessfully for 2 years, and a law like this could have helped him. Alex Jesse is no stranger to labor. He's been on track loaders like this since he was 7 years old. Instead of spring break fun, he's working to restore the Pine Rocklands, working for his dad's company because finding work hasn't been easy.
I've applied to Publix, Walmart, and different places, food franchises.
And all of them tell you you're too young?
Yeah.
Tuesday, the state legislature advanced the bill that would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to work more than 8 hours a day on school nights and 30 hours a week without mandated breaks. It would also allow 14 and 15-year-olds that have graduated from high school, are homeschooled, or attend virtual schools to work.
What's wrong with expecting our young people to be working part-time now? I mean, that's how it used to be when I was growing up.
The idea is that with this bill, low-wage or undesirable jobs once filled with migrants now get filled with younger workers, a solution Governor Ron DeSantis supports.
I don't think the at night late working and going to school doesn't sound to me to be something conducive for a young person.
McNaghy is the owner of Mixed Greens.
We farm about 100 acres of tree farming.
He employs younger workers, but says they need balance.
I'm all for after-school agricultural work, but if I had my way, I'd make sure they stay in school, too.
Jesse says if a law like Senate Bill 918 existed 2 years ago, it could have helped him prepare for his future as a welder.
I would have been able to be employed, make money, so I'm able to afford a car, have the things that I'd like. I either want to go out to the oil rigs and weld underwater or do the pipelines.
Critics of this bill believe that this will lead to sleep deprivation of children, academic decline, even added pressure for those working to help their families. This bill will now head before 2 separate committees before going before the full Senate for a vote. In the Redland, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Food banks across the country are scrambling to fill gaps after $1 billion worth of funding was cut from the Department of Agriculture. The department supplies funding to local farmers, schools, and food banks. These cuts are also part of Trump administration's goal of reducing what it considers government waste. CBS News Miami's Nakaya Carrero explains the impact from a local food bank.
Here Feeding South Florida, I spoke with the CEO, who says they've already experienced cuts back in January. Now with additional cuts coming down, he says it's going to take a community to get through this trying time.
I think it's really hurting the people that need it the most, you know.
Jerry Lewis has been going to Feeding South Florida for 4 years. He says the assistance he gets from the organization helps with his food bills.
People that are like me, who have limited income, or on fixed income, it affects us because we have to budget everything, like for travel, for gas.
Paco Velez is the CEO of Feeding South Florida, which serves families from as far south as Monroe County to as far north as the Palm Beaches. He says the government cuts started in January, beginning with the local food purchase assistance program.
That's impacting Feeding South Florida, our local farmers, as well as the families we serve. It's a $13 million contract to buy produce, buy other ag products here in South Florida, and get it to those families.
And the cuts don't stop there.
Just recently, we also found out that our emergency food assistance, or TFAP program, has been cut, and we've received cancellations of loads.
Velez says there's a need now more than ever for food banks because more families need help.
We're also investing in our procurement team, our food acquisition team. They go out and they look for donations from restaurants, from ports, from distribution centers, from manufacturers, and from our ag community.
The CEO here at Feeding South Florida says they also help distribute food to 250 local food pantries across our area, meaning those individual food pantries will also feel the impact of cuts. In Pembroke Park, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, has your car insurance premium gone up? We'll tell you you're not alone. See what you can do to save some money next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Miami's biggest weekend of music takes over downtown. Thousands of people packing Bayfront Park for this year's Ultra Music Festival. And people who live or work in the area bracing for an influx of music fans, traffic gridlock, and noise. Maribel Rodriguez is back now with more from downtown Miami.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with her, but we love Ultra.
Formonton Luna will be experiencing her first Ultra Music Festival experience from home.
I mean, it's tough mainly for the traffic, and there's going to be a lot of people here, but it's a good party, and we like to attend when we can, so we support Ultra.
I don't know. Used to it? Yeah. Probably from the belly.
She, along with her parents Juan and Beatriz Arias, along with the thousands of residents, along with music lovers from all over the world, will be vibing to the beat of one of the largest electronic music festivals around.
Ladies, are you here for Ultra?
Yes, we are.
Tell us, where are you from?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
First time?
No, I was here last year. Her first time. And
I'm excited.
Tourists as well as locals alike flocking to the massive event that's expected to draw more than 160,000 people. We spoke with some residents who say they don't seem to mind the chaos.
It doesn't bother me at all. I work pretty early in the morning, so I'm out early and then I come back early.
How about the traffic?
The traffic, it gets a little hectic at times, but I think that it's perfect. I have noise cancellation headphones, so I'll use them at nighttime because I usually work in the mornings.
Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
The Trump administration's 25% tariffs on foreign automakers have spooked the stock market and some consumers. Cox Automotive estimates that the tariffs could increase car prices by thousands of dollars if they're made overseas. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri talked to a car owner about why he may want to hold on to his current set of wheels for a while instead of buying new.
Look at the stripes on this bad boy.
YG Nightstorm bought his Mini Cooper Countryman back in 2023.
And the regular Mini Coopers can't fit me. I'm 6'2", 280. This one can.
It's a proper fit and a proper price. He says he didn't want to buy anything new because the prices weren't worth it. so he bought his car used.
It was a decent price. It was still high, but it wasn't as high as everything else.
And he's worried that if his pride and joy breaks down, getting a new car could be costly, with President Trump's executive order slapping 25% tariffs on imported cars made outside the U.S. Nightstorm is worried consumers like him may have to pay for these tariffs. He says he's staying off of the new car market for now.
This is as good as it's going to get, and if it wanted to get more, I would move by something with water and canoe to all my places where I got to go.
CBS News says the tariffs apply towards SUVs and minivans and light trucks made overseas, and it also applies to key auto parts like engines and transmissions. CBS News spoke to Jessica Caldwell, an analyst at Edmunds. She says the tariffs could cause higher costs in fixing cars.
I think anybody that is having to repair their vehicle or just service their vehicle are going to experience higher costs as well, and probably insurance. You think you get into one accident, that's a lot of parts.
This will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen before.
The Trump administration says the tariffs could take in $100 billion in revenue and encourage automakers to expand their manufacturing presence in the U.S. While all of this gets sorted out, Nightstorm says he's just going to get every mile that he can out of his Mini Cooper.
I'm not getting rid of my baby. She's too good to me.
CBS News also expects the demand to rise for used cars, since newer cars could become more costly. This latest round of tariffs by the Trump administration take effect on April 2nd. In Homestead, Steve Magiri, CBS News, Miami.
From tariffs to car insurance, if you drive in South Florida, you may have noticed that your rates are going up, and the growing trend does not appear to be stopping. But the question is, why? CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis spoke to an expert and consumers about what's driving the uptick in prices and what you can do about it.
So Florida is insane for car insurance.
Florida drivers are paying a high premium when it comes to car insurance. Experts say several factors are to blame, and tariffs may contribute.
We did anticipate for about a 7% increase throughout 2025. But the one thing that's kind of going to throw a monkey wrench in is with tariffs. That 7% doesn't really account for how tariffs will impact car insurance.
Shannon Martin, a bank rate insurance expert, says she expects rates to continue to rise. Martin says the average premium in Florida is significantly higher than the national average. To put things into perspective, the average cost is around $2,600 a year. But in Florida, the average cost is $4,100 a year.
Close to $9,000 a year on 3 cars, and it's not bundled, so it doesn't include a home or a boat.
I don't know. It just seems like it's super expensive to live here, you know.
Martin says Florida has a high number of uninsured drivers.
When you're in a risk pool with a lot of uninsured drivers, then the cost of accidents actually tend to increase.
For people who have moved to Florida from other states, the price jump has been a shock.
Look at, do you want to drive your car and live in your house, or do you want to drive a moped? I mean, you do have to look at offsetting other things to cover these expenses, because these are needs. Having a car is not a want, it's a need.
Florida's high car insurance rates aren't changing anytime soon, but experts say being proactive and shopping around every 6 months could put more money in your pocket. In Miami, Trish Christakis, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see how a South Florida woman is remembered for her legacy in healthcare and how she's still helping save lives today. Stick around.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Now to an update on a story we brought to you on Headliners last week. Firefighters have put out a massive brush fire in South Miami-Dade, and now that traffic is flowing in and out of the Keys again, a family restaurant is starving to serve customers who were kept away by the flames. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward is in Key Largo with the story.
In Key Largo, wedged between traffic flowing north and south on Overseas Highway. Where does this burger rank?
10 out of 10.
Sal's Ballyhoo's customers toast and give thanks for handmade burgers, fresh grilled shrimp, sauteed spinach and Parmesan scallops, satisfying server, staff, and the owner's son more than anyone eating.
The air is cleaner, literally a fresher air.
1 week ago, wildfire crippled traffic. It burned an area of brush bigger than Fort Lauderdale. Blinding smoke drifted over the only 2 roads in and out of the Florida Keys. That caused temporary closures.
Servers couldn't get here.
It stranded Ballyhoo staff. Most live on the mainland.
It was a little frustrating. It was a little stressful for me. I had to do busing. I had to call my brother in to come in, my dad, everybody. It was all hands on deck at that point. Even my mom had to come in and help out a little bit. Our fresh produce that we get from Homestead, we couldn't get that because they were all landlocked up there and we were island locked essentially, so it was difficult.
Sal Barrios Jr. saw fewer lunch customers too. Spring break usually serves up families with hungry kids for weeks at a time. Many walk over from hotels. Since Sal Sr. took over Ballyhoo's after 3 decades as chef, March is their second busiest season. NASCAR week in nearby Homestead was their peak until last week.
I come here as much as we go out to eat.
Heather King is a regular. Usually she brings family and friends to savor her favorites and indulge in the island vibes. But this meal is a bit more.
We're trying to take care of each other down here for sure. I want to support locals, so I have a business here locally as well, and it's important that we support each other.
She's happy to see customers keeping servers busy. For Sal Jr., it's deep-fried relief, and his family is hungry for more. Sal Jr. says his family loves their regulars, but this restaurant lives on tourists, and so they're hoping this week's crowds help replace what the fire, smoke, and road closures took away. In Key Largo, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
And finally, this Women's History Month, we celebrate the extraordinary life of Jessie Trice, a fearless advocate for women's health care. A true trailblazer in the community healthcare movement, Trice dedicated herself to transform the lives of those in need. CBS News Miami's Naja Sherman explains how Trice's legacy is still saving lives.
Jessie Trice was a visionary. In 1967, recognizing the urgent need for health care in the Brownsville neighborhood of Miami, she took matters into her own hands, delivering primary care services from a trailer.
I remember when nobody wanted to help her with the vision. I remember when the government looked at that as something she should not be doing.
Trice was driven by a profound desire to create a brighter future for youth and mothers. That guided her mission to establish essential healthcare services for the medically underserved and predominantly Black and Latino communities across Miami.
She would go and knock on the doors to make sure that people who have not been to the doctor can get to the doctor. She'll take them in her own vehicle if she had to.
Today, the Jessie Trice Community Health System is a thriving nonprofit, federally qualified health center. It's comprised of numerous facilities.
We also have a 24-hour substance use residential facility that was started by the Jessie Trice because she felt that at the time of the height of the crack cocaine epidemic, our communities were losing their matriarchs in the homes.
Denise DeShazer shared how these services she received from Jessie Trice centers were nothing short of life-saving.
Not only did they help me with that baby in my belly, I was diagnosed with HIV, mental health, substance use disorder, and they embraced me.
DeShazer fondly remembers Trice's fierce spirit.
She was strong. She was smart. She was a go-getter. And you know how you say you want to emulate somebody? And I also like how she dressed. She really knew how to wear some heels. She really knew how to put a suit on. And her hair, you know, I used to call her Silver Fox.
Though Jessie Trice passed away in October 1999, her impact continues to resonate.
Every time I see her name or every time I hear somebody make reference, I am just so grateful because even though she passed away, her spirit is always, like right now, I can feel her spirit now.
Jessie Trice was the first Black person to graduate from the University of Miami. Her life's work continues to change the trajectory for countless families in our community. Naja Sherman, CBS News, Miami.
Thanks for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great one.